So what I'm trying to say that, guys, try to understand. R2 is behave like a translator over there. How? Because this LSS7 is not understand by the normal area, right? So what this AVR will do, R2, it will convert this LSS7 information into the LSA5. So if you go on a R2 router right now and check one thing, do so IP OSPF. मैं क्या हूं? AVR. उसके बाद, now the next thing, what I am doing, perform the type 7 to type 5 LSAs. So right now, what R2 is doing, this route is coming to the LSS7, this point, which route 5.0 and 55.0. What R2 is doing, R2 is converting into the LSA5. Type 7 to type 5. And this is done by the AVR. Quick question to all of you guys. This router is behave like an AVR. Who will generate the LSA7 info, LSA5 information? Which router? Which router will generate the LSA5 information?
Sir,
Jaldi batao.
ASBR. ASBR.
So is this router is a ASBR right now? No.
No,
So
sir.
what happened? Once the LSA7 information will be converted into the LSA5, automatically R2 will behave like a ASBR as well as. So this is the most important interview questions. Will the AVR will become ASBR? Yes, it can become.
So, sir, when LSA7 information received by AVR, it behaves like ASBR.
Of course, तभी तो convert करेगा इसको.
Okay.
So now if you check the R2 database table, first of all, do so IPOs for database. We have a LSA5 information. And who is generating? R2, because R2 is the ASBR. And if you check on R1 router, E2 router. Can I ping this guy? Of course. है? अच्छा एक चाहिए क्या अभी इसमें पिंग करेगा 1 मिनट कांड हो गया यार खतरनाक. So R1 is able to ping this guy as well as. If you check from R4 from Delhi to the Goa, Delhi to Goa, do ping this communication is not happening. Why? Reason I'll tell you. Right now, even if you ping from R3 to this guy, this will not happen. Do ping from Kerala to the Delhi, even it's not happen. Why? If you remember that this point that I've written over there, by default, the behavior in the stub, what happened? AVR will generate a default or with the cost 1 into the stub area. So whatever the user that are sitting in the stub area, right? Right? This is the default behavior. But in a NSSA, it's not happen. But in a NSSA, it's not happen. NSSA, this router will never generate a default lot. Have a look over there. Do we have any information about the default lot? Do show IP OSF. Any? No, he's saying that this is the NSSA area, but there is no information regarding the default route. He's saying that this is the NSSA area, but there is no information regarding the default route. But if you check the last one, previous message, where the stuff was configured, can you see that this information? Let me make a sticky notes. Sticky note. Snipping 2. Now compare with this value. But is there any information? No. Right? So what we have to do, that's why this R3 is not able to communicate with this person. R3 is not able to communicate with this person. That's the reason. So what we have to do on a R2 router, we need to inform this guy, area 1 NSSA, please generate a one default route into the NSA area. Originate means what? Generate. Generate what? Information about which guy? Default. In which area? Area 1 is what? Originate means what? Generate information about what? Default. Which area? Area 1 is a. Hit enter. R3. Do show IP route. Is it? Now I can send the traffic from here. डूपिंग चला गया मस्त. This is the stub area, sorry, NSA area. But in the NSA area, what happened if you see do so IPO stub database, still we have a LSA3 information. Still we have a LSA3 information in the NSA area still. So to avoid the LSA3 information, what we have to do on R2 router, I need to make this guy as a totally stubby, right? I'd say that don't send summary information. No summary. Don't send the summary LSA. I'm informing this R2 router. R2 is generating the LSA3, right? I'm informing this guy don't send any summary LSA into the area NSA. This is known as a totally stub. Sorry, NSA and totally NSA. NSA is going to remove the LSA4 and 5. LSA3, 4, 5. And you're only allowed to apply this command on a ABR router because ABR is going to generate the summary LSA. Now have a look on R3. Do so IP OSF database. Do we have any summary LSA except this word default or no? Any questions, guys? Anyone has questions?
No, sir.
Now, two things you have to understand over there. And after the understanding this thing, now another point. Two default route. One is a ABR LSA3, one is a type 7. Which one will be put in the routing table? In this database table, I'm going to perform the SPF algorithm, right? This is the SPF guy is going to perform. Which path is best, this one or this one? अरे बता दो. अनूप बताएगा. अनूप बता दो जल्दी से. बड़ा पढ़ाई करता तू. जे नहीं बताया तूने.
I think 168 age one, sir.
Sorry?
168 age one.
Why?
Because older.
अबे elder के बच्चे. शैतान इंसान. OI dot now more paper than the any other route. E2, E1, N2, N1. Right? This is more paper. Now, if this is more paper route, so do I need to maintain this information in the database table? No. Wastage of memory. Go na R2. Remove this guy. Area 1, NSA, no summary. Don't advertise, don't put this command. This command is only required when you're performing the NSA. In the totally NSA, not required. In totally NSA, not required. Now go R3. Duping. हो गया. and I'm done. हो गया NS से खत्म. Anyone has a question? No, you can ask me. I'm done with the NSA. Any questions in the stop NS area? I'm done.
Excuse me, sir.
बोलना भाई.
The two default routes you showed, no, sir. That I'm getting confused. Type 7 one default will create and type.
Type 3 is more preferred.
Okay, okay.
तुमने practical किया था OI dot over the OI dot. E1 is over the E2, and N2 is equal to over the N1 is equal to over the N1, right? N2, and OI dot is more preferred than E2, E1, N2, N1.
Sir, I'm asking even type 7 will create default route here, sir.
Right. हाँ बोलना.
But before it was not communicating, no, sir, because no default route was there.
Is there na?
Yeah, now we got it, no, sir. But type 7, when it generated, it will not generate the default route or what, sir? Before
By
only.
default, it will not generate. You have to manually generate.
Okay, okay.
By default, you have to manually generate this. In the stub, what happened? They are generating automatically, but in the NSA, what happened? By default, they will not generate. एक मिनट रुको यार. एक मिनट. Let's check it. It's working or not. Yes, working. Right now. एक मिनट दो. क्या पढ़ा दो आप?
एक्सक्यूज मी सर.
बोलो भाई.
सर R1 पे फिर प्रॉपर LSA 5 का इंफॉर्मेशन रहेगा फिर सारा?
हाँ पूरा रहेगा भाई. पूरा.
ओके. तो सर कोई ऐसा मतलब ये यहाँ पे ऐसे ही रहेगा LSA 5, इसको हम रिमूव नहीं कर सकते?
नहीं. Area 0 is the backbone area, man. They must have a complete information. They must have.
ओके, गॉट इट सर.
अब मैं क्या पढ़ाऊं? 3 चीज बताओ. 3 चीज से बताओ क्या क्या पढ़ना है. समराइजेशन पढ़ोगे पहले, या फिल्टर पढ़ोगे, या वर्चुअलिंग पढ़ोगे? बताओ क्या पढ़ोगे. तुम जो बोलोगे वो पढ़ा दूंगी.
सर जहाँ मर्जी से शुरू कर लो.
अरे तुम ही बताओ यार. बता अनूप क्या पढ़ेगा तू?
Your wish, sir.
तू ही कंफ्यूज है. सुनील बता दे यार. विजय बता दे.
सर वर्चुअल लिंक से शुरू कर लो सर.
चलो वर्चुअलिंग करते हैं. इस बंदे को स्टॉप कर दो.
Sir, one doubt, sir. In totally NSSA will LSA 5 and LSA 7 information also, sir.
LSA 7 only information will be there. LSA 1, LSA 2, LSA 7.
In totally NSSA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, try to understand one thing. Area 0 is backbone area. It must be present to provide PRO, inter-area communication, right? It must be present, right? And each area must participate, right? So now tell me one thing, as I told you at this point, it must provide the inter-area communication, right? Now, let me change the diagram. I don't like this. Now, according to this diagram, we have area 0, we have area 1. Let me make a more big one. I'll do one thing. Area 0, area 1, area 2, and area 3. Right? So these are the different areas we have. मुझे ये बताओ, as I written over there, inter area communication will be provided by the backbone area, right? Every area has a one host network. मतलब host means LAN network we have. Sorry, not host, LAN network. Port of 4 is not given. 5.0.0. So what happened? R1. R1 is a backbone area router. R2 is a backbone area router. And R3 is a backbone area router. Is it? What about this guy now? R4 and R5. Non-backbone. R5. Non-backbone. It means that R1 will share this information to whom? R2. R2 will install this information into the routing table. Yes, bro. Yes, bro. फिर कांड करवा दिए यार, आप ऐसे क्यों कॉल करते हो यार आप? यार तो हम क्या कर सकते, मेरी जिंदगी में और कुछ नहीं बचा हुआ अभी, हम आपको कॉल कर रहे हैं थोड़ी देर में. What happened? This route 1.0.0.0, R1 will say to the R2, right? R2 will install this information in the routing table. R2 will share this information with R3, right? R2 will say, 1 minute. Backward.
Sir, how R3 is
अरे
backbone?
एक मिनट रुक जानो मेरे backward, and this is non-backward, not backward. It should be non-backward. ठीक है, हाँ. So R2 will now save this information to the R3, and R3 will have this information. So this guy has the information O dot as a 1.0.0.0.0, right? This guy has a OI dot as a 1.0.0.0. Now next point, backbone router can share the information to non backbone router and non backbone router. This is the point, right? So let me make it a little bit big. Okay, and that is happening over there. Now next point, non backbone router can receive information from backbone router, but it will never share that information. Done. So right now what happening, try to understand, this is the backbone router, this is the backbone router, and this is the non-backbone router. So backbone routers can share the information to the backbone. So this information will be shared to the backbone, and R2 will install this information, and then backbone will share this information to the non-backbone, and non-backbone will store this information. But non-backbone router can receive the information that is receiving, non-backbone router receive from backbone router, but it will never share that information. Okay, running what again? It will never share that information to non-backbone router. Never. So this route will be appear into the R3 routing table, but it no go beyond the R3. If you check, R1, R2, R3, R1, R3, R2, R2 is not there, and yeah, R2 is not there. So if you see on R1, so IP OSF interface brief. So we have 3 loopbacks over there, right? This information will be traveled to the R2 router, right? So IP root OSF. एक मिनट देना भाई, कुछ मिस्टेक है. No, no, and no. क्या ही हो रहा है, कुछ से कुछ करते हैं इसमें. R1, एक मिनट मुझे कॉन्फ़िगर करने दो। ठीक है, डन। एक मिनट guys, something has problem. I don't know what happened this fast. Should be not here, right? No auto was performed. Perfect, auto was performed. Not ready. Network. Area 0, right? Sorry, area 1. Network. Area 2. Output. Okay. Done. So now everything is good. So if you check right now this route R1 1.0.0, it will be appear on R1 and this is advertised. Do show IPOSF interface brief. This loopback one has advertised, right? And it will go to the R2 router. R2 will receive this information as a O route, same area, and R2 will flood this information to whom? Backbone to non-backbone. R3 will have, right, as a OI. But will R3 will share this information to the R4? Not. R3 will never share this information to the R4. Read this line, downside. Because this area 2, this area 1 is a part of, this has area 1 has a connectivity with the area 0 router, right? Area 0 router. Area 1 has a connectivity with the area 0 router, but area 2 does not have a connectivity with the area 0 router. It must be, right? It must be connectivity either logically or either physically. Either you can do one thing, either connect the cable from R3, this router R4 to this guy as a physically, and make this interface 0/0 and 0/0, put the IP address and connect the area 0. But that is not feasible, right? That is not feasible solution. How many cables you are going to use to connect the physically? How many cables you are going to use to connect the physically over there? So physically that's not possible, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm create a logical tunnel, right? I'm going to create a logical link between the backbone router to non-backbone router. So right now R2 is participating into the area 0, but not R3. I'm going to create a logical connection, right? This is a logical connection I'm going to create between the R2 and R3. And that logical connection is known as a virtual link. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a virtual link between this guy and this guy. Right? So let's see how we can create a very simple command. What we have to do on R3 and R2 router. Let's go on R2 first of all. And I say the router OSPF number 1. If you go on R3, R4 right now, debug IP routing and so IP root OSPF. I don't have a route. So let's go on R2 router and I say the OSPF 1 area 1 through, right? The command is saying that through area 1, I'm going to create one logical connection. That logical connection is known as a virtual link between whom a router number 2 to router number 3. Same command I'm going to put on R3. I say the router OSPF number 1 through area 1. I'm going to create a logical connection that is known as a virtual link between R3 to R2. Now what happened once I say that this guy, what happened now, this router is a non-backbone, right? Now it's behave like a backbone router. Now it will behave like a backbone router. And if this guy is behave like a backbone router, then what happened? This is non-backbone router. Is it? Right? If you see right now, I got the one neighborship with the virtual link loading to full. Guys, it's not like that. It always start from the 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 something. It's 1 out there. It should be 0. And now if you check R4, what happened previously? No router was there. Now we have information. If you check now, so IP root OSPF, and I can send the traffic. If you go on R3 right now, do show IP neighbor. I have a one neighborship with the virtual link, right? One is a physical neighborship that I am forming right now, and one is a virtual link that I am going to form right now. For the virtual link, the priority is 0. It means that there is no DRBDR. No DRBDR on the virtual link, because it's a point-to-point network, and the point-to-point network, There's no DR and BDR, and that's why we have a state is full. Otherwise, what happened? There's a two-way state or either DR and BDR. No date time. OSPF virtual link 1, it always start from 0. So right now R4 has an information, right? Will R5 do so root? No. Why? Because non-backbone cannot share the information. What is the next thing we have to do, guys? Next thing, we need to make a logical connection between this guy and this guy now. Now we have to form the logical connection between this guy, the router ID of R3 and the router ID of R4. The router ID of R3 and the router ID of R4, that is 3.3.3.3.3.3 and the 4.4.4.4.4. Let's go to R3 now. Area 1, area 2, virtual link I'm going to create with the 4.4.4.4, R4. Area 2, virtual link 3.3.3.3. Got the message? VL2. Do show IP host of neighbor. So R3 has a two neighborship. R3 has a one neighborship with the R2, and R3 has a another neighborship with the another logical connection with the R4. So basically, R3 has a two logical connection right now, R2 and R4. Yeah, 8 minutes. Yeah.
Sir, but in the previous example, you were explaining stability and all.
So, kya?
When you in previous example, you are that NSSA stub area you were explaining, no, sir? How it was explained out, sir? We were getting no, sir.
Sorry?
We were getting the routes, no, sir. Even R1 routes also, R2 routes also, we are getting in R3 and R4.
Man, that is look like this was there, right? Area 0 and area 1 only. This was a RIP was there, right? This was a EHRP was there. So only two area was there. That's it.
One time it was projecting backbone to non-backbone.
Yeah, only the backbone to non-backbone, right? But here is a lots of areas.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So right now what happened? I formed the two virtual neighborship, right? Logical connection. Now if you check on an R5 router, now this guy behave like a backbone router. Now backbone area router can share this information to the R5 as well as have a look. Is it? So everything is good, right? If you check on R3 right now, we have two virtual links over there and do show IP OSPF virtual link. It's saying that two virtual links we have. The one is to 4, one is 2. The first is saying that run as a demand circuit, right? Means थोड़ा सा पढ़ाई कर लो, बुक से भी पढ़ना बहुत जरूरी होता है। पढ़ो this line. What is the use of demand circuit? To suppress the periodic hello packet and LSA refresh. By default, what happened? At every 1 second, by default, what happened at every 1 second, this LSA will be increased, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But whatever the route, whatever the LSA that I'm getting through the virtual link, that will be a suppressed. Have a look. Can you see that? DNA. Do not age. So this timer will be stopped now. This timer will be not implemented because this route I'm getting from the virtual link, right? This route I'm getting from the virtual link. This route will be summarized. So what this guy is allowing you, if you check this time one more time, what I can do right now, 361, right? And 398, do so IPS for database. Still 361 and 460 has increased. So whatever the LSS that has a DNA bit set, this is a DNA bit, right? Do not age bit. In that case, what happens? Whatever the LSA that I'm receiving through the virtual link, that LSA will be never increment the LSA timer. That is the meaning of demand circuit. Right on this line. लिख लो, पूछ लेगा इंटरव्यू में. समझे? Now read this line again. This one. When the OSPF demand circuit is configured on the link, the periodic OSPF hello are suppressed, right? The periodic hello are suppressed only on which link? On any other network type? Clear? So this features, demand circuit features, is only applicable for the point-to-point network, right? Second thing, do not occur, right? By default, what happened? This is the 30 minutes of the timer, right? LSA refresh, but this will be not occur with the demand circuit. DC bit is set, right? If you see, let me show you this one. DC bit, right? It's right now it's denying. It's not support. Why? Because we are using the broadcast network tab. We are not using the point-to-point and point-to-multipoint. DNA bit, right? This is the bit that I've got in the LSA database table, right? LSA stops aging and no periodic update are sent. This line is most important. By default, these features will be inbuilt in the virtual link. If you want to allow this thing as a manually, you can do that. Let me show you. Do one thing, take care of two routers over there.
Excuse me, sir.
Sir,
this demand circuit means this virtual link what we established now.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the features of the virtual link.
Okay.
अरे यार इथरनेट लेना ना मुझे, सीरियल लिंक लेना, सॉरी. Point to point, right? R6, R7. Yeah. IP OSPF demand circuit. You can manually apply this command. R7 as plus IP OSPF demand circuit. Manually apply this command. Done. Show IP OSPF S3/0. Show IP OSPF interface. S3/0. Yeah. I have enabled the demand circuit right manually, because this demand circuit features is only applicable on which link, sorry, which network type, not on the other network type. Now once I enable this thing, what happened? Which network is this? Do we have any DR VDR? Of course not. Now what happened? Is there any hello packet in the capture? No. So what demand circuit is allowing you guys, it is just going to suppress your hello packet, but this thing will be not possible in the Ethernet technology. In the Ethernet technology, if you are going to apply the demand circuit, still this guy will. For 0 neighbors, for 1 neighbor. So the command will be applicable on the Ethernet technology, but it will not support. He's saying that running as a demand circuit, but I cannot suppress the hello packet, because this features is only applicable on the point-to-point network or point-to-multipoint. Anyone has a question in the demand circuit? Is it clear now? This point is clear to all of you guys. Anyone has a question till this point? Anup, puch question. Ankur, Artyo, Asmita, Srikant, Vinay.
I'm okay, sir.
Then after that, what happened? The next point is transit area. What I told you that virtual link behave like a transit area, right? And backbone also. And on this link, you cannot enable the area, cannot be a stub area because it contains a virtual link. Not possible, guys. If you have a look over this guy, do show IP OSPF. He's saying that अब इसके बारे में मत पढ़ो यार, मैं तो पता है पूरा दिन खत्म हो जाएगा, 2-3 घंटे का लेक्चर है ये क्या होता है ये, even it's not a part of the CCI, okay, but it has a lots of, so I'll tell you what is the meaning of that. The OSPF area transit capability feature is enabled by default according to the RFC 2328. OSPF area transit capability is the ability of the area to carry the data traffic that neither originate or nor terminates in the area itself. This capability enable of the OSPF ABR to discover shortest path through the transit area and the forward the data traffic along those paths rather than using virtual link of path which are not as a optimal. इसको लिख लेना. देखो, this kind of question you will not get in the interview, right? But knowledge important. अगर किसी को पढ़ना होगा तो बता देना, मैं वीडियो दे दूंगा इसका। अभी नहीं, अभी नए सी से वाले बैच में मैं पढ़ाऊंगा इसको, तो इसका वीडियो दे दूंगा। क्लियर? लिख लिया? अभी लिख लिए? Has everyone write down this thing?
Yes.
लिखा तो होगा नहीं, मुझे पूरा भरोसा है तुम लोगों पे। Right now, after that, all those things are very similar, right? State is point to point. What is the meaning of transparent relay? Time intervals. Hello, that time. So this thing is not I'm going to teach you, right? It's a very basic things. So only that's important. What you can say that after enabling the virtual link, how many features you will get? You will get the run as demand circuit. In the demand circuit, what happened? Hello suppress, and then LSA will be suppressed, and LSA will be DNA bit set. DNA, what is DNA bit? Do not is. And this feature is only applicable for which network? Point to point and point to multi-point. And virtual link behave like a point to point. Clear होगा? Any questions? I'm done with the virtual link as well as. Now, guys, give me 10 minutes of break. Let's say have a 10 minutes of break, and then we'll continue. Okay. So right now 7:30 is there. See you in the 7:40. So I'm opening the Zoom. I'm not closing the Zoom. I'm just silent the mic and pause the recording. Okay. Let me have a coffee and I'll teach you. Yes, no, so interface loop back number 2, IP address will be loop back number 2, loop back number 3, right? As a router OSPF number 1, router ID will be okay, and then as a network 0.0 area 0, right? R2 do swipe interface brief, router OSPF number 1, router ID 2.0.2, okay, network 0.0, okay, area 0, right? Network 20.0 area 1, right? Then R3 so IP interface brief, okay, no interface loop back number 1, 2, 3, router OSPF 1, router ID network 23.0 area 1, done. Just wait for some time, and this is the area 0 and area 1. This is the area 0, and this guy is put in the area number 1. Is it? Chalo. Okay, so if you check on R3, okay, R3 is not from the neighborship. What's happened? Do show IP interface brief. So we have a 23.3 up to show IP interface brief. Okay, now we have a neighborship. Perfect. So if you check the router number 3, do show IP root OSPF, we have a information. I'm not getting the 1 or 0. Why? Do show IP interface brief. Done. Perfect. So we have a 101, 2.0, 3.0. Perfect. So now two things will happen. Let me tell you. In OSPF, you have to understand this thing is very, very important, right? In OSPF, what happened? In EHGRP, we are advertising a route, right? In the RIP, we are in EHGRP, what happened? We are advertising the route. In RIP, we are advertising the route, also known as a prefix in a both term. In OSPF, we are advertising the LSA and route as well as. And BGP, what happened? We are advertising the NRI, right? In OSPF, what happened? Once you're going to configure the OSPF on the router, now this guy is going to maintain two things. One is the LSDB table. One is the routing table. Is it? One is the LSDB table. One is the routing table. In the LSDB table, what happened? You have a LSA information. In the routing table, what happened? You have a routes information. Tell me one thing. This is the network engineer. It will forward the packet. For example, in this LSA database table, we have a 1.0.1 information. And the routing table, we have a 1.0.0 information. /8. If I say the ping, which table I'm going to look up? Is this one or this one? Which table I'm going to look up? This one or this one?
Routing table.
Routing
Of
table.
course, routing table we are going to look up, right? We are going to perform the routing lookup over there. Now, if I'm going to perform the routing table, and in OSPF, what happened? You have two ways to perform the filtering. You can perform the OSPF filtering. In the LSA filtering, you can perform, and you can perform the route filtering. Now, try to understand what is the difference between this guy. If you're going to perform the LSA route filtering, only route will be removed. Not LSA. Clear? If you do the LSA filtering, first of all, LSA will be removed. From LSDB. At the same time, route removed from routing table. So which one is the better? LSA or route?
LSA.
LSA. Of course, because in the route filtering, what happened? Even the route filtering is what happened, route will be removed. You cannot ping, but still this guy is going to contain some memory, right? This guy is going to contain some memory. That's not a preferable anytime. So that's why what happened in the OSPF, we always do the LSA filtering, not the route. You can do that, I'm not denying it, but it's not remuneration. So in the LSA, what happened? You can perform the LSA filtering for the LSA 3 and LSA 5. You cannot filter LSA 1 and 2. Never. You can filter the LSA 4 that I taught you, if you remember that. If you remove the ABR, LSA 4 will be filtered. You can filter the LSA 5 by making a stub, and you can filter, you cannot filter the LSA 7 as well as. LSA 3, you can filtering in the OSPF and LSA 5. Now the question is that, where should I perform the filtering? If you have a look like this topology, a big topology, R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, R6, R7, R8. Where should I perform the filtering? This guy are area 0, this guy are area 1, and this guy are area 2. Where should I perform the filtering? Guys, try to understand LSA3 generated by whom? ABR. So ABR, if the ABR is going to generate, then ABR is going to remove as well as. So you can perform the LSA3 filtering on the ABR router and LSA5 filtering on the ASBR router. Because LSA5 is generated by ASBR and ASBR has only ability to generate the LSA5 and to remove the LSA5 information. So that's why what happened, if you see right now, we have a 3 routes and this 3 route is coming by, this is the area 0 and this is area 1. So in the R3 routing table, we have this information as a LSA3. What I want to filter the LSA3, right? How we can perform? Based on the ABR router, and R2 is the ABR. Do show IP protocol. EAGRP is also running this guy. No router EAGRP1. And here I'm going to perform the LSA3 filtering. How we can do that? We need to follow the steps. What is the step number 1 we have? Step 1, first match the route. And how we can match the route? Based on the access list or prefix list. But in the LSA3 filtering, what happened? ACL is not supported. Because command is not available. So we have to use the prefix list. So what we have to do, I just need to match this guy. IP prefix list, deny Cisco, deny /24, right? Permit, allow all the route. Then step number 2, apply it. Where? So guys, it's the same mechanism that you have learned in the EHERP route filtering. Nothing is different. Okay, so I'm just let you know how we can perform this thing, right? Router OSPF number 1, right? And what I'm saying that filter. Let me go through the command line. Let's go now R2, and I say that prefix list. Let me copy this now. Copy. Done. Router OSPF number 1. Filter. Okay. Yeah. So what I'm saying that, try to understand. This route is present in the area 0, right? And this route is coming to move from where? Area 0 to area 1. Is it? This route is coming from area 0 to area 1. So why is it that area 1 filter list, put the question mark, prefix, there is no option of ACL. Put the question mark. What is the name of that? Cisco. Then put the question mark. Is it inbound or outbound? Tell me. Is it inbound or outbound?
So inbound.
Perfect, because the route is coming to area 1. It should be a inbound. And I'm done. Just wait for some time. Now if you see on R3, do show IP route. I still have that information. And can anyone tell me why? Anyone? Command is correct. Command is correct. Reason is very simple. What I told you that if you remember in the prefix list is going to perform the exact match with the network ID and subnet mask. Is it exact match? So just check the do show IP root OSPF. Right? What we are matching is not correct. It should be a 192.168.101/32, right? So what we have to do on a R2 router, I need to change my prefix list, and I say that it should be 101/32 because as we know that loopback always advertise as a host route /32, right? Remember? So we need to match the exact guy, right? And now we have to copy this person. Copy. Do now if you check on R3, do show IP root OSPF. I don't have the information, the 1 or 0. So make sure that always correct matching of this thing. And now if you check the database table as well as, because we are doing the LSA3 filtering, database also does not have a information of 101. This is how you can perform the LSA3 filtering. So what I said that in this concept, I said that area 1 filter list prefix in mod, right? So only if you just take example, इसको अलग कर ला R4, okay, start. R4. And R2, let me define this guy. Interface 1/0. IP address will be. I'm gonna shut down IP host 2, IP host 1, area 2, and R4. Interface 0/0. Auto host number 1, router ID 4044. Network 24.0. Area 2. Is it? मैंने कहाँ configure दिया है? R2 interface 1/0. No shutdown. Run right. R4. राकेश क्लास नहीं है स्विचिंग का मैसेज दे ग्रुप में
ठीक है सर
पढ़ाई कर ले जाके तू
ठीक है सर ओके
पढ़ाई कर ले तू
कर रहा हूँ सर कर रहा हूँ
चल ठीक है बाय
ओके बाय
so can you see that what's happening do so IP root OSPF I have a 1.0 information, 2.0 and 3.0. What I put the command over there, command line is saying that the command I used over there for the LSA3 filtering, match this guy. I apply this command on R2, deny 1.1. In which area? In what? Which area is this guy? This guy is running with the area number 2, right? So in this case, what happened? This guy is not going to filter this area, right? Only the 1.0 will be not allowed. When the route is coming to this guy, 1.0, 2.0 and 3.0. R2 only going to share the 2.0 information and 3.0 information. R2 is going to share this information to this guy 1.0, 2.0 and 3.0 information. Because I matched only area number 1, not the area number 2. Clear? Right? Now, let's come to the point R2. Route OSPF number 1. And let me remove this command again. Route OSPF 1 and as the area number 1. Sorry, no. Let me filter this guy, remove this guy. Okay. Now I use this command. Now I change the command from here to here. I say that now area 1. Sorry, area 0. It should be odd one. Done. And now have a look. R3. Not getting the 1.0 information. R4. Not getting the 1.0 information. Anup, Anuj, Ankur, Artyo, Hasmita, Srikant. This concept is clear. What is the meaning of in bond with this guy and what is the meaning of odd one with this guy? Perfect. So always remember, if you're going to apply the odd one direction in an area 0, it will never share this information of this guy or not even this guy, whatever the area, not this guy, whatever the area. But if you know filter the for the specific area, you can filter. That is the good thing ability of the OSPF. It's a part, everything is an area based in the OSPF, everything. Right now, how we can perform the LSA5 filtering? Let me go on R3, and what I can do right now, I'm going to create some loopback, interface loopback number 5. Then router EHRP number 1, right? Network 4.0, network 5.0, and network 6.0. What I can do, router OSPF number 1, redistribute EHRP number 1. So there is a 3 routes that belong to the EHRP. This domain is EHRP right now, and I advertise this route into the OSPF as well as by making a redistribution. So this router will become now as a ASPI router. And if you check on R3 right now, do show IP OSPF. Sorry, do show IP protocol. Is it? Now R3 will advertise the LSA 5 information to whom? R2, right? R3 will advertise the LSA 5 info. This information as the LSA 5 and area 0 as well as. If you go on R2 router, do show IP OSPF database. Is it? And even if you check the do show IP route, I have that information E2. What I want to filter the LSA 5. I don't want to share the 1.0 information to this guy. No, 4.0 information. How we can do that? Just go on the notepad. Let me copy this command. LSA 5 filtering. Access, you can use the access list over there. D9. Right? Then router OSPF number 1, distribute list. Distribute list 1, outbound direction. If you want to match the interface, you can match the interface. It's totally up to you. And now exit. But I need to allow the rest of the route as well as right. Otherwise, implicit denial will happen. If you want to use the prefix list, you can use the prefix list as well as if you want. The prefix list for this guy will be a you can put the name as well as if you want, right, in the prefix list. And then I say that I can put the name, right? I'm not sure. You can put the name, number. Should be name, right? And then did permit. And instead of the ACL, you just need to call the prefix list number. So let's do that. Let me copy this, the prefix list command. If you want prefix, you can do that prefix list as well as. So I need to call this guy in the prefix, right? Distribute list prefix and 1 and now direction. Copy. And LSA 5 filtering you can only do on the wow, Sandar. LSA 5 filtering you can only do on the ASBR order. Done. Now have a look. Go on R2. Do show IP route or do show IP route. I don't have a 4.0 information. Even if you check the database table, even in the database, no 4.0 information. I only have a 5 and 6, no 4. This is how you can perform the LSA 5 filtering or LSA 3 filtering. Is it? If you can use the ACL as well as if you want, you can use it. Right? Now, let me remove this command from the R3. No IP prefix list 1. Sorry, not reflex it. And do show transaction OSPF. Done. And R2. No IP prefix list Cisco. Do show run section OSPF. And I say that Router OSPF 1 and no. Clear? So everything is now normal. We have a three prefix behind the R1 and three prefix behind the R4, behind the R3, and this has a LSA 5 and this has a LSA 3 according to the area 1. This guy. Who will generate the LSA 3? R2 will generate the LSA 3. In the OSPF, how can you perform the summarization? Everything is same, nothing is different. I'm telling you, right? Even if you can perform the summarization in the two ways, you can perform the LSA 3 summarization, right, and LSA 5 summarization. Again, same concept. LSA 3 is generated by ABR, so you are only going to perform the summarization on the ABR router. LSA 5 is done by the ASBR, so you are only going to apply this command, summarization command, on the ASBR router. Except this one, you cannot do the any summarization. You can only perform the summarization for the LSA 3 and LSA 5. You cannot do for the LSA 1, even not the LSA 2, even not the LSA 4, not even LSA 7. I forget to tell you about the LSA 6, right? LSA 6 is reserved for the MOSPF, multicast OSPF, multicast routing, right? Multicast OSPF. It's reserved. Even in the Cisco CCI exam, this LSA 6 not comes in the picture, right? It only comes in the picture of the CCI service provider. Okay. So you can perform the summarization for the LSA 3 on the AVR router, right? And you can perform the summarization for the LSA 5 on the ASBR router. So right now in my diagram, what happened? We have 3 dots behind the R1 and 3 dots behind the R4. So let's do one thing. Let's go to R3 right now. If you check, do show IP route, and you know the benefit of the summarization, right? Reduce the size of the routing table, right? Reduce the size of the routing table, then it improves the performance of the router, and then it is going to reduce the wastage of memory as well. As that's the benefit of the summarization. Don't ask any question, because already we have seen summarization in the GRP. Almost the 4 hours classes was done. Okay, so don't please. So now what you can do on R2 right now, if you see, we have 3 dots over there, 1, 2, 3. I can perform the summarization for this guy on R2. I just go on R2 router. I say the router is number 1. Now what I'm going to do, I say that area, right? Because we are going to do the summarization for area basis. Area. The route is coming from which area? The route is coming from this area. Area 0. Then he's asking, what is the summarized route for this guy? What is the summarized route for this guy? I need to convert this summarized route into the range. And what will be the range of this guy? 192.168.0.0/22, is it? So what we say that I need to convert this guy into range. My network ID will be 0.0/22, and I put the hit enter over there. So I say that whatever the route that is coming to from the area 0, I'm going to save the summary address /22 to area number 1, at the same time area number 2. So I'm not going to say the detailed information. I'm just going to send the brief information, short information, skinny information, and summary information. Have a look. Go on R3, do show IP OSPF database. Sorry. Even if you check the database table as well as this is the new LSA, right? And now check the routing table. Awesome, right? Even if you check on R4 order, R4 also receive the summary dot. But you have, if you put the question mark over there, let me show you. By default, this keyword is applied, advertise keyword. If you say that not advertise, what happened? You can filter this route by using a single command. I say that don't advertise. What happened? Now, not there. R2 will never share this information to this guy, not to this guy. Without any kind of ACL, without any kind of filtering, you can perform the filter. Try to understand, without any ACL, without any filtering, I have performed the filtering by using a summary keyword. Don't advertise this range. By default, this keyword is applied. Now if you check R3, previously it was there, now it's not there. If you want to change the cost for this guy as well as, you can change the cost. This is how you can perform the summarization, right? This is how you can perform the summarization for the LSA3. For example, I'm going to change the cost. Let me change the cost. I say that 500. The cost will be changed over there. Now if you check on R3, the cost has changed. Previously the cost was 21. Now the cost is 510. Try to understand one thing. So very, very important. This is the summary network. And which LSA is this? Summary LSA, right? This is the network is summary network. And who is advertising this router? 2.2.2. What is the difference between this metric and this metric? Can anyone tell me? What is the difference between these two metric? Try to understand. This metric is telling you how far this guy, and this metric is telling you this is advertised by the ABR. This ABR has set the metric. This ABR has set the metric. So to reach the ABR, this is the cost, and this is the actual generation of the route. Clear? Now at the same time, you can perform the LSA 5 filtering, sorry, summarization on a R3 order. So let me do one thing. So right now, if you check on an R2 order, do show IP route OSPF. We have a E2, right? How we can perform the summarization for this guy? Just go to R3. That's my ASBR order, and you can perform the LSA 5 summarization, external route summarization on a ASBR order. Just go to R3 and see that router OSPF number 1, summary address 4.0. Done, right? I need to say the advertise, right? By default, advertise is there. If you say that don't advertise, it will not advertise that one. R2. Even on R1 as well as Doping, doping, doping. So we are able to ping each other as well as. So we have a good communication right now. If you say that don't advertise, then Data will never share this information. They don't know that. So if you it's totally up to you how you can manage this thing, right? You can filter this thing as well as. It's totally up to you. Clear? Now, एक टास्क देता हूँ बहुत प्यारा, बहुत छोटा सा टास्क है, तुम लोग को पता करना है बस. You just need to identify this thing. बड़ी भूल हुई तेरी याद